First, there was a Friday night of black rain, as if God had forgotten his promise to Noah. Next, there was a century of a Saturday, a day that never saw him smile. Finally, near the end of the longest night, before a stone the size of 12 men, around a fire that gave off coal, 3 hooded forms stood watch. There is no fat on the face of death, the first to speak. His mouth is a black hole, and each word echoes like it traveled a great hollow tunnel to arrive at his lips. He said, "It is a question of the largest mouth. The rabbit eats the grass, the fox eats the rabbit, man eats the fox, and I eat man. He who eats last dines forever." So, if a passerby would ask, "Who rules this life?" point him to this stone. Tell him that I am inside, dissembling the handiwork of God. Eloquently pleaded death. The lounging figure by the fire raised a palm of protestation, but falsely asserted, "I sin, parade as possibility. I pollute the dreams of the young and wait for a harvest of betrayal. I say, buy silk suits, ties of gold, so no one will know the electricity of your mind is greed, and 70 beats of your pulse are lust, and the movement of your muscles mere envy. I reign from inside." And so, if a passerby would ask, "Who rules this life?" point him to this stone and tell him that I am inside, claiming the failed dreamer. No sooner had sin stopped than fate was on his feet. "I do not rattle bones like you, death, or wait for clouds to gather in the blue eyes of innocence, like you, sin. I have twin straws dipped deep into their hope and freedom, and I drain them empty of struggle, their faces whitening into resignation." And so, if a passerby would ask, "Who rules this life?" point him to this stone and tell him that I am inside, overseeing what was meant to be. Now, the sun, which Ecclesiastes says always rises, broke the night of fierce debate, but no rooster greeted it. Instead, a stone the size of 12 men moved like a mountain on its way to the sea. And on a fresh wind of morning came the Son of Man, his shroud a wedding garment, his feet between earth and air in dance. Death, sin, and fate poured rhetoric into the stirring air about them, but the silent Son of God only danced to music beyond their words. He whirled around death, and with each turn, death himself grew old, till at last, unbelievable look, he saw no more. Then wordless, Christ spun around the words of sin, till a stammer started, sound choked, and finally there was only a mouth with no voice. Next, fate heard the risen footsteps, and frost formed on his tongue. As Christ leapt before him, he froze in mid-syllable, iced by the warmth of God. Now there is only the morning and the dancing man of the broken tomb. The story says he dances still. That is why, down to this day, we lean over the beds of our babies and in the seconds before sleep, tell the story of the undying, dancing man, so the dream of Jesus will carry them to dawn. I thank you for listening to this poem. It's actually a much longer poem by John Shea that I have edited down. It's one of those poems that I go back to every Easter. I just find so much meaning in it. And I also like to just develop a liturgy that goes with it. And hopefully, I can find a ballet dancer that will become a part of this Mass someday in the future. Thank you for being here.